Countries in Central and Eastern Europe have been worse hit by the financial and economic crisis than probably any other region of the world. And in that, however, Poland has been an exception.
Poland was the only country of the European Union not to plunge into recession.
Poland has a chance of becoming an economic powerhouse of Europe. Nothing less than that.
Solidarity had a lot to celebrate on its 9th birthday today. It can claim to have transformed politics in Poland, and now it's heading the country's new government.
The promise of 1989 was that the end of the Cold War is the end of the social antagonism. I mean, we really thought after 1989 that there is one way, there is necessity, there is one direction, and we have no time to discuss it because we have to catch up with the Western countries.
Poland had been through a big crisis, and it was faced with how to move into the modern world, how to change the entire structure of the economy to become competitive and to become a Western capitalist economy.
Mnie się wydaje, że może warto powiedzieć o tym.
I think it's got to be said that to a great many people the change of the system was a great joy, but equally it surprised them too, because suddenly it turned out that people had full responsibility for their own lives.
W pełni odpowiedzialni za swoje życie.
For well-educated people living in a big cities, young enough to fight on the market, it was a great time. But the problem was that the big part of the society was completely excluded and then frustrated.
Unemployment is expected to pass 1 million this year. Warsaw's job office has never been so busy. Almost no one was listed as unemployed a year ago. Now Poland has 400,000 people looking for jobs.
Those people found it extremely difficult to become re-employed. Many of them really became marginalized. So they were those who lost.
Was it going to work? Well, I do remember documents inside the fund which gave it a 50% chance of working. But the Polish policymakers were determined to do it. They had the courage to do it, and we didn't have the option than not to support such a courageous bunch of reformers.
What we are doing is to assist your government in the design of its program. And it is our job in the IMF to put at its disposal our experience and our knowledge of these kind of problems.
Not only was there a communist economy, but also didn't have a lot of skills necessary to simply run the market economy. So some technical assistance was absolutely crucial.
For me, it was very great time because if somebody had a good idea and a little bit money, that was a very big possibility to make anything. It was not only for money, it was very big spirit feelings that our products are finding place in our customers.
Within Poland, there's always been, people are very individualistic and they don't like to be ordered around. And obviously a good way of not being ordered around is to be your own boss.
So 20 years ago, we have started this firm with my partner in a small garage with 2 persons. In this time, we had used only cash. So the cash flow was very speedy. We have possibility to buy new things, new machines. It was very easy.
Getting rich. That was the main idea behind almost everything that happened in Poland, in terms of economics, of course. Getting rich and getting normal.
So the initial success was due to the entrepreneurship of Poles, but then the big step forwards was due to the fact that Poland started to attract a lot of the investment.
Rynek się wzbogacił, prawda? Było tych towarów coraz
The market was developing, there was a growing abundance of goods. We'd lived in this homespun poverty for so many years, and everybody was really enjoying all that.
And now all these things are made in Poland. Only brands are foreign, but the product is ours.
Our growth was not very impressive. First years we had even negative growth, but after some period of time the economy started growing faster and faster and faster, and in mid-90s the growth achieved even 7% growth.
And among the countries represented at that EU enlargement reception was Poland. It's the largest of the 10 countries joining on Saturday. But what does EU membership mean for its people?
Poles wanted to work and live in a normal, wealthy country, and they did everything possible to achieve this, and they did achieve this.
Everybody wanted to join European Union. It was for us a destiny. For a long time, we really wanted to be in this club.
The transformation has been so fast and so extensive by this point that most people have become reconciled to this process. But there were losers, certainly.
It's inevitable when you move from socialism to a market economy that you're going to have an increase in inequality. But what we know, and Poland is a very good example, is that those countries which moved fast to reform have seen the smallest increase in inequality.
The collapse of Lehman Brothers set off a wave of panic on Wall Street.
We thought that the whole world has gone crazy. We were looking at the stock markets in New York, in London, in Warsaw, and we saw things we could not understand.
We became anxious and we started to observe, and the first reaction of the government, I should say, was that we have to cut our expenditures.
Of course, the financial crisis was also not nice for us because we are exporters, especially for the east countries like Russia, Ukraine, and so on.
Obviously, some problems did appear. A bigger budget deficit, a bigger public debt. But for the time being, it seemed that the real economy in Poland did not suffer, and the financial sector, the banking sector did not suffer.
Probably Poland is the only one country around the globe that has debt limit to GDP written to constitution. So this was one of the key elements, that the low debt, which in relation with very responsible fiscal policy, resulted in solid fiscal position.
We were much more prudent. We really did not lose our minds in the good years before the crisis.
Poland had followed more stable policies than its neighbours, but we were concerned that there could be a lot of spillover from these neighbouring countries.
When you're dealing with a crisis of this kind, it's a crisis of contagion, it's a crisis of fear, and fear picks the weakest off, but then moves on to the stronger ones. And you've got to stop that fear, and the way to stop that fear is by international solidarity.
Poland's situation was actually quite a bit stronger than the other countries, and that's why the IMF was very happy to give Poland support under the flexible credit line. And Poland was an ideal candidate for this. It was a country with strong policies, and yet there was the risk that there could be a spillover from the crisis in neighbouring countries.
So this is very scary, that sometimes people make decisions without having knowledge about the situation in particular country. It was a perfect time for the fund to come with new instrument. Poland was assessed as a strong economy with solid fundamentals, which also was very helpful, and it also supported Polish government in front of investors and in front of the markets.
Nothing has changed as far as the facts are concerned, but the perception of those facts has changed. And here, the FCL was a clear signal that the fund believed in Poland, and in a way that it also believed in the whole of the region.
The crisis offered us a very unique opportunity. We always thought that it will take us 30 years, maybe 40 years to catch up with the brightest in the European Union. Now, because of their recession and our positive, stable growth, the period it will take us to catch up with them will shorten.
One thing we have really learnt from the Polish experience is that if the policymakers have the courage to take action in a most difficult situation, they can achieve remarkable things.